Hello and welcome to the third and final part of this video series where we are doing speed tests of the built-in basics and other basics of old vintage 8-bit computers from the early 1980s. For this third and final video, we're going to be doing prime number generation once again. All three videos have the same basic program being run by these various platforms. This time, however, we're not going to use built-in basics. What we're going to experiment with is some external basics, third-party or even first-party basics that are enhanced or modified versions of the basics that were offered outside of the internal ROMs that are on each machine. So let's talk about the two machines we're going to be kind of running the tests on today. First of all is the TI-99. We demonstrated this in part 2 of this video with its internal basic. And its internal basic is modest at best in terms of speed. Today we'll be running the same prime number generation program with the TI, Texas Instruments, extended basic cartridge. This basic, if I remember correctly, doesn't go through the same interpretation process as the built-in basic and should run a little bit faster. So let's find out. In addition to being probably faster, it offers some advanced commands, sprite commands, color commands, graphic commands, and of that nature. Okay, the other computer we'll be looking at today is, once again, we featured this in the second video, is the Atari 800 XL, but rather than running the internal Atari basic, we'll be demonstrating prime number generation using Turbo Basic XL, which is a basic programming language that was developed in Europe later in the lifespan of this machine, and was developed to be very fast. So we'll see how it does versus the internal basic. Now, before we run these tests, I want to talk a little bit about the third-party basic selection process and why I picked what I did. So let's take a look over here. On the desk here, I have some basic cartridges. Let's start with this. Once again, the TI-99. We're going to be today demonstrating TI Extended Basic, which is put out by Texas Instruments, which was an enhanced version of their basic for their platform. You'll notice here on the Atari, there are some other basics other than the built-in basic. There's Basic XL, which is put out by Optimized Software Systems, a popular basic at the time. These folks were responsible for the built-in basic on the Atari, and they kept improving the built-in basic and releasing cartridge versions of that basic as third-party basics throughout the lifespan of the Atari 8-bit computer platform. We have a Microsoft Basic. Now this is Microsoft Basic 2, and basically Atari commissioned Microsoft to write them a basic. Initially they wanted a Microsoft Basic to be built into the machine, but it wasn't going to be ready in time. I believe Microsoft at the time was trying to get a basic ready for IBM's PC, which was due out. And so what happened was, it's a little bit delayed, but they eventually released a Microsoft Basic for the Atari. This is Basic 2 because the initial version was disk only. Basic 2 is a cartridge version that I have here that came with a disk, but it was just extensions. So additional commands and functionality were on the disk, but the bulk of the language is on this cartridge. Lastly, I just wanted to show, this is the original Revision A basic programming language released by Atari for its 8-bit computers. This was produced by the same folks who did this, Basic XL, Optimized Software Systems, and is an 8K basic, and Revision A, and it's got some interesting bugs. But and moving on now, so we won't be showing this basic off, and I wanted to go through a little bit of the selection process. I didn't pick things like Simon's Basic for the Commodore 64 because this is really just an extension of the Commodore 64's built-in basic. It wouldn't add any speed features at all. In fact, it would probably slow it down because there's additional parsing and tokenization that needs to happen. Same with something like the Final Cartridge 3 here, which has some additional basic commands. All this is going to do, if anything, is probably slow the built-in interpreter down. So all I did today was include basics that were complete re-implementations and weren't built upon the interpreter in the ROMs in the machine. So things like Basic XL or Turbo Basic XL or Microsoft Basic 2 on the Atari, and in the case of the TI-99, Extended Basic, which are complete re-implementations of Basic for each of those machines. So let us begin. So we're going to, once again, calculating primes up to 250 on each of these platforms. Turbo Basic XL in the Atari and Extended Basic in the TI-99. Again, I don't know how to do timing on. I'm not familiar with this machine, so I didn't know how to do timing correctly on it. So I'm running a little basic program I wrote on the 102 that is basically a stopwatch that we'll be using to time the TI-99. Otherwise, the Atari will be timing itself. All right, on the count of 3, shall we? 1, 2, 3. Here we go. TI-99 is cranking there. It's in 29, 31, 37. Turbo Basic XL and Atari is really hauling there. It's already in the hundreds, whereas the TI-99 is still below 100. So, quite interesting results here so far. I can already kind of tell the TI-99 Extended Basic at this point is faster than its built-in Basic, and the Turbo Basic XL basic programming language is absolutely screaming compared to the built-in Atari Basic. Wow, that is remarkable. Absolutely just a speed demon. It's going to finish up here very soon. So it only took 52 seconds to calculate primes using Atari Turbo Basic XL. Again, Atari 1.78 megahertz 6502. Well, that's remarkable. 52 seconds to calculate primes up to 250. That is our record holder right now. That is number 1. It beats the Commodore 64 by a significant margin, actually. By many tens of seconds. Now, the TI-99 Extended Basic, although I think it feels faster than the built-in Basic, is still crunching here, so it's going to be a bit slower, but we'll wait it out and we'll see how it fares. And you probably already suspect, but I've already done all these tests ahead of time and know the winner and know the outcome, but it's still kind of fun to watch them go and see how they perform. So, and I'm going to show you a spreadsheet at the end of this that shows all the timings in order. So, of all the tests we've done. So, and then a couple more as well. So, it should prove to be interesting, I hope. And just to put a point on it, again. This is an unenhanced basic program. It's a portable version of this program that doesn't take advantage of types. It doesn't use decimal types or the integer types and built in these basics. It's just a standard numeric type just for portability reasons. So the TI-99 finished, and looks like here, John, help me out with the looks like minute 30, let's see, 2 minutes, 20 seconds roughly, something like that. So quite a bit slower than the 52 seconds of the Atari Turbo Basic XL, which was just an absolute screamer. So let's pop over to the spreadsheet and let's have a conclusion and discussion regarding the various platforms and how fast they performed with the prime number generation. Here we go. So in first place is the Atari platform with Turbo Basic XL at 53 seconds. Second place is Atari again. In fact, it's Microsoft Basic on the Atari at 76 seconds. So the two top spots are not built-in basics. One is a Microsoft Basic, one is not. Third place is the Commodore 64 with its built-in Basic 2.0. That's also a Microsoft Basic at 79 seconds. Slightly, just a few seconds slower than the Atari Microsoft Basic. At the bottom, at the very bottom, we have Tandy 102 with a Microsoft Basic at 249 seconds. Second place from the bottom here, second slowest, is the TI-99 built-in BASIC at 232 seconds, and finally the built-in Atari BASIC at 164 seconds. And in between, we have the extended BASIC of the TI-99, the Commodore 128, the Atari BASIC XL from Optimized Software Systems, and the MSX1 built-in BASIC. So it looks like, from these numbers, Turbo BASIC XL on the Atari is an absolute winner. In fact, the top two spots are taken by the Atari platform. So back in the day, in the 1980s, if you wanted some fast basic code running on an 8-bit platform, Atari may have been the way to go, particularly with the Microsoft and Turbo BASIC XL implementation. So there we have it. Atari's the winner, with Commodore following. So thanks for watching, and have a good day.